sportsmanship by student athletes, coaches, and spectators. We request your cooperation by supporting the participants and officials in a positive manner. Profanity, racial or sexist comments, or other intimidating actions directed at officials, student athletes, coaches, or team representatives will not be tolerated and are grounds for removal from the.
Well, before the kids go trick-or-treating tonight, a little business to take care of first and foremost this afternoon, as it's ASUN women's soccer semifinal action between the Lipscomb Bisons and the Eastern Kentucky Colonels. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Nashville, Tennessee, campus of Lipscomb University here at the Lipscomb Soccer Complex. Justin Seam alongside Noah Severson. And Noah, big-time game here this afternoon between Lipscomb and Eastern Kentucky. Two teams that met earlier in this season. Eastern Kentucky at their home field able to get a 2-1 victory.
Yeah, it was Lipscomb's only divisional loss this year, so you know that the Bisons are looking for revenge. This game is chock full of storylines. You're talking about Lipscomb's head coach Kevin O'Brien looking for his 100th win. Of course, Lipscomb getting the top seed in the West. They had a disappointing end of their season in the spring. They're trying to get back on top in this conference. And they're taking on the team that stands in their way here in the semifinal, Eastern Kentucky, who you mentioned beat them earlier this year. So the Bisons have a lot of goals that they can accomplish just in the span of 90 minutes, maybe longer here this afternoon.
That first matchup between these two teams, Shelby Kraft got the scoring going first for Lipscomb, scored in the 11th minute, and then it was tied. Lucy Ream scored in the 33rd minute, 1-1 at halftime, and then it was a second-half goal in the 66th minute by Mackenzie Burdick. Got Eastern Kentucky the win 2-1 over Lipscomb. But since that time, Lipscomb has really been on a hot streak, as Lipscomb has won 8 of their last 9 games, the only loss coming to that Eastern Kentucky team. On the other side for Eastern Kentucky, a team that comes in here 9-9 overall, 4-5 entering the ASUN Conference Tournament. They were the number 3 seed out of the West, played on Friday night in the nightcap against Liberty. That was a game I called. It was a kind of defensive struggle throughout that game, and then the 87th minute of that game, Maddie Lemery gets the goal, assisted by Neria De Diego and Greta Gunn, two all ASUN freshman team members, and they get the victory over Liberty, and now a chance for one of these two teams to make it to the ASUN Conference Championship next weekend. We are underway from the Lipscomb Soccer Complex as Lipscomb kicks it off and controls first.
Talked about how hot Lipscomb was. Eastern Kentucky playing their best soccer this season. They've won 4 out of their last 6. You mentioned that big win on Friday. Interested to see how Eastern Kentucky comes out of the gate, especially after an emotional win like that one.
Cammie McGee trying to work one to the right side. That one cut off that time by Lucy Ream, the aforementioned goal scorer in that first matchup. In the game on Friday night, Lipscomb had just a dominating blowout victory as Katya Hanger kind of falls down awkwardly. That good news, she's back up and moving around there, because she is first team All-ASUN, just a fantastic player for this Lipscomb defense. But what I was going to say, it was a blowout victory for Lipscomb, 6-0. They won that game over Jacksonville State. That was the first time a team in an ASUN Conference Championship game had scored 6 or more goals since 1997.
That's crazy.
And it was convincing fashion for sure. Throw in now for Eastern Kentucky, the Colonels, in their offensive end. Eastern Kentucky, the first half of that Friday night game against Liberty, they really pounded the net. A lot of shots and a lot of shots on goal. They really dominated offensive possession time, and then in the second half, Liberty kind of flipped the script against them, and it really looked like at many times in that Liberty was going to find the goal and then just kind of quick counterattack, and it happens so often, Noah. You'll see that a team can really just kind of pound and pound, not get the score, and then a quick counter can be the difference.
It's going to be hard to pound and pound against this Lipscomb defense. You talk about how well they have played all season long, the best defense in the ASUN. And so Eastern Kentucky, when they get chances, they're going to have to make the most of them, because this Lipscomb defense, once they close down on those passing lanes, it's tough to get anything in the attacking third.
Ball kicked back that time to Bayley Lanter. Into the box, C.J. Graham will come up. She has a league-leading 11 shutouts this year in net for Lipscomb. Olivia Carapazza trying to get it over into Lipscomb territory. Pretty good amount of fans came down from Eastern Kentucky to see this one. This is pretty good showing and a lot better weather than we've had the last 2 days here in Lipscomb as well.
Oh, my goodness, Justin. We were here last night for that men's game, their final regular season match against Central Arkansas. It was cold, it was raining, and we still had a great crowd, and that should just tell you a little bit about how much these soccer programs mean to the Lipscomb community. We've got a fantastic atmosphere. You mentioned how many Eastern Kentucky fans made the trip. I got here an hour before game time. They were already tailgating in the parking lot, making sure that they were going to be loud and proud here for this semifinal contest.
Well, they were loud on Friday night, I can tell you that much as well. And, of course, Lipscomb having a good contingency here too. But you talk about beautiful weather. It's in the mid to low 60s. Just some partly cloudy. This is perfect soccer weather. Nice move by Audrey Anderson. She'll send a shot towards the goal, cut off by Katia Hanger. Anderson, the leading goal scorer on this Eastern Kentucky Colonels team.
Yeah, she is electric. She's, as you mentioned, the top goal scorer on this team. Colonels are going to make a concerted effort to get the ball at her feet and let her create plays.
Little scare for her on Friday night. She had to exit the game in the first couple of minutes with an injury. Able to come back in, though, in the second half, and that was big for the Colonels. Another throw in at midfield for Eastern Kentucky. There's Ream. Nice toss down to Iacono. And McFadden mishandles that one. It leads to a shot opportunity. That was dangerous. Greta Gunn, Johnny on the spot there, able to find the mishandle that time. You don't see that very often from Logan McFadden.
Well, and that's what we had just mentioned. You know, Lipscomb is not going to give up that many chances, so Eastern Kentucky has to take advantage. We'll see if that last missed opportunity comes back to haunt them, because that was a fantastic opportunity right there for Greta Gunn at the top of the 18.
This is just the second ever meeting between these two teams, and it's got high stakes written all over it. There's the ASUN Defensive Player of the Year, Shelby Kraft. Nice touch on a ball there, and Molly Grant gets just shoved to the ground.
Tough challenge right there for Mackenzie Burdick, the sophomore defender out of Cincinnati, and maybe this will get the Bisons going. We saw that early attacking opportunity in the first 60 seconds, but since then it's been Eastern Kentucky controlling possession. This will be a good free kick opportunity for McFadden, who has a really strong leg.
Got him. 5 players lined up at the top of the box. Now Katia Hanger will come in. Interesting, Lipscomb always brings their 2 big defenders in on these free kicks. Here's the free kick. Carly Dean skies high to grab it. Carly Dean, a great story. Last game of the regular season, she got called into action because of a red card to their goalkeeper, Hines, who got the win against Lipscomb earlier this year. She gave up the penalty kick goal and then knew she was going to have to start the first game in the quarterfinals. That was her first ever career start, gets her first ever career win in shutout fashion. Nice counter there by Eastern Kentucky. Now some room to work for Kraft. Time and space. Gets it over. Cammie Rogers, the leading goal scorer, as Molly Grant tries to push it down. And that one just cleared away by Eastern Kentucky.
Good pressure there from Grant to force Eastern Kentucky to kick it out of bounds. Looked like it did get tipped a little bit, so Colonels do get the throw.
And Lipscomb, no stranger to pushing the envelope on the offensive end. They got called for, I think it was 14 offside calls against Jacksonville State, but when you're scoring 6 goals, Coach Kevin O'Brien doesn't mind being that aggressive, I don't think.
And sometimes it takes that. You know, we may see a few offside calls, especially in the first half, as you try to get the timing right. And you're going up against a back line. You're trying to figure out what the opponent wants to do in terms of where they set their line. So you're okay with rolling the dice if eventually it pays off like it did with 6 goals on Friday.
That run a little too long. Molly Grant will still press the issue on Carly Dean, make her pick it up. Played almost 7 minutes here, first half, no score. ASUN semifinal action. We'll try to keep you updated on the score of the other semifinal game that's going on. That one is between Bellarmine and Kennesaw State. Bellarmine getting an upset win over the number 1 seed in the East as McGee tries to track that one down on the right side, looking for a centering pass. It goes through the defender's leg, and I think that even fooled Molly Grant just a little bit.
It did. She was expecting it to hit the Colonel's leg. You know, if she knew that it wasn't going to be touched by the defender, she would have had an easy shot attempt, but she just didn't have time to adjust there once she saw the ball coming through the legs.
Yeah, I think that was Lanter. Here's Angela Steidel. That one will be cleared out. Not a goal, no, excuse me, not a corner kick. Will be a throw in on the side.
Talked about that Bellarmine-Kennesaw State game. They just kicked off the second half, still knotted at 0-0 in that match, the other semifinal.
Yeah, the Bellarmine-Florida Gulf Coast game, that's the one that I want to focus on. It was a 1-1 tie, ended up going to penalty kicks, and Bellarmine gets the win 4-3, and that's probably the truest kind of upset of the tournament so far. Still in the goal, in the box area, and that was a great look for Emanuela Shirk, just got under it a little bit.
Nice little pass from Allie Dunn to play it back to Shirk. Good avenue to shoot, just a little too steep.
First real scoring threat, though, by Lipscomb here in this first half. The other side of that bracket up top, Kennesaw State gets the 4-3 overtime win in the 93rd minute against Central Arkansas. So the top two seeds, there's a run, chance. McGee, does she get it? No, just misses right back corner, and that was a golden opportunity for the Bisons.
A gorgeously timed run that time for McGee. She gets herself loose, and she's going to want that one back.
I mean, that, and now I think we're going to get a corner kick.
They're going to say that Carly Dean touched that ball.
I didn't see that. Of course, the official a lot closer than we are, but still did not see it. So a first corner kick of the game, but Lipscomb, that's one of those you may look back on if Eastern Kentucky able to get a score here early and kind of kick yourself. Olivia Carapaza takes the corner. That one's going to go back over the net. So not a great position on that one, but still, last couple of minutes, Lipscomb starting to threaten on the offensive end.
Yeah, they're getting more and more aggressive. They're keeping things on the right side of the field. That last run, can't get over how gorgeous that was for McGee. Full sprint, gets the ball in stride.
Dean that time didn't get a great kick on that one. That one pops into the stands right in front of us. There's a throw in by Steidel, trying to go deep to Grant. Gets it over the defender now. Grant's got some room. Tries the centering pass. That one goes close to that back left corner there. McGee and Cammie Rogers were closing in, but couldn't get a touch on it.
And we see the continued pressure for Lipscomb. Eastern Kentucky just trying to get it on the other side of the midfield stripe at this point.
Eastern Kentucky had some pressure early, and actually in a similar kind of situation, Greta Gunn had kind of a opportunity to send one towards the goal she wasn't expected on a mishandled ball by Logan Mcfadden, but since that shot, it's been Lipscomb kind of dominating the offensive end. Here's McGee trying to track down a ball. Here's Burdick defending. Back to Cammie Rogers, leading goal scorer on this Lipscomb team. She's got 7 on the year.
Solid defending from Nerea De Diego, ASUN freshman of the year that time. Able to turn it here to the near side.
She was one of those that had an assist on that goal on Friday night. She is kind of a jitterbug out there. She's so quick. Lipscomb will earn their second corner kick, though, of the afternoon. Now Shelby Kraft coming over with Allie Dunn, and it looks like Kraft is going to take over. That one a little deeper this time into the box. Ricochets off of Mcfadden. Lipscomb will still control, though, at least momentarily. Now Carapaza's got to kind of hustle as the aforementioned Nerea De Diego was pressing on her quickly. Well, that's the one spot when you got Katya Hanger and Logan Mcfadden, when they go in the box on those corner kicks, if you can get one quick, there's not much of a defense back there mounting for Lipscomb.
Great call, Justin. Yeah, we had all 11 white jerseys, all 10 rather white jerseys, except for the keeper, pushed up on this side of midfield. And don't blame Eastern Kentucky for just trying to take a shot, let one of their speedy forwards run underneath it.
Carapaza will back it up to take the free kick. Played over 12 minutes in this one, still no score. Look at the shots right now, 2-2 Eastern Kentucky, though, the only shot on goal right now. Lipscomb did outshoot Eastern Kentucky in that first game. I believe Lipscomb outshot them 19-11. EKU, though, what's interesting, they had 2 goals. Only 4 of their 11 shots were on goal, and 2 of them were in the goal.
It's pretty efficient.
This Lipscomb team leads the ASUN in shots on goal, shot percentage, shots, total shots. This is a very offensive-minded Lipscomb team. Allie Dunn nicely played defensively there, though. Preventing the corner was Bayley Lanter.
Yeah, Lanter's someone to keep an eye on. She started every single match for Eastern Kentucky this year. Senior from Lexington. She's got a lot of experience, and she's going to be counted on heavily when you talk about the speed that Lipscomb has on the wings. It's going to be the outside backs like Lanter that are going to be counted on heavily by head coach Matt Kozanuk.
Matt Kozanuk in his 3rd year from Florida Atlantic University. Mitch Hepburn, Jordan Nash, and Megan Ryan helping out. Dunn gets ahead on that one. Nicely played by Allie Kirk in the middle to send it back over midfield. See Shelby Kraft getting involved there. Coach Kevin O'Brien was really happy that she got the recognition as ASUN Defensive Player of the Year. You know, last year she was more of literally just a defensive player. They move her more to kind of that roaming midfielder this year where she really is playing. I mean, she runs probably more than anybody on the team out there, and 4 goals on the year, so still able to get the recognition as the ASUN Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, you got to credit head coach Kevin O'Brien with a decision like that. I mean, you're taking your Defensive Player of the Year. Obviously, she plays that center back position well, and you're moving her up into the midfield. It's obviously paid off. She can have a larger impact on the game. She's more involved. You trust her passing ability. You trust her IQ, especially facilitating, and she's also scored 4 goals for you. And like you said, I think Lipscomb and especially Coach O'Brien really happy that she still got that recognition for being the game changer that she is.
Well, you've got that luxury, though, when you've got Logan Mcfadden and Katya Hanger. I mean, 2 center backs that are just fantastic. Right. I mean, if you don't have one of those 2, you may not have that luxury with Shelby Kraft. So this is a spot here. Carapaz has got a good leg from there. Lipscomb another chance here on a free kick. Into the box. Katya Hanger trying to get ahead on it. This one bouncing around. Now Naria De Diego, and she can fly. Steidel, who has played really well, kind of pressed a little bit into action earlier in the year with Emily Patty going down with injury, and I've been impressed with what Angela Steidel's been able to do.
You talk about those injuries. Lipscomb has dealt with their fair share of injuries, especially on the defensive side, and so having someone like Steidel able to step in and keep some of that consistency on the back line. Lipscomb, talk about how offensive-minded they are. They've got a solid, solid defense, the stingiest defense in the ASUN.
Carly Dean able to grab that one. Again, Dean, just her 2nd career start. Talk about starting a career. 1st career start in the ASUN quarterfinals, 2nd career in the ASUN semifinals. If she wins this, her 3rd career start will be the ASUN championship game. In Eastern Kentucky's return back to the ASUN, 1st year in the ASUN in a while, as they've been in the OVC for a long time. Not a ton of shots here early in this one. There's going to be a deep shot by Naria De Diego, and at this point, why not? I mean, you want to get any kind of pressure you can. Any kind of mishandle could be the difference in a game.
It might have just been a little too far out of her range, though. I think she had Audrey Anderson at least pushed up towards the middle where she could have maybe tried to work a pass.
It's De Diego again. Steidel with a nice play there. Kraft moving it up quickly to Dunn. Allie Dunn works it back into the middle to Kraft. Kraft, she's got a good leg from there. She'll take the shot, and that one going to be over. She maybe a little too far outside the box as well, but 3 of her 4 goals this year have come outside the box.
Yeah, she's got a leg. Transfer from Penn State. And, yeah, why not go for goal number 5 there?
Carly Dean will have the goal kick now for the Colonels.
And that first substitution for Eastern Kentucky, Kylie Fitzgerald coming on for Greta Gunn.
It's going to be key for both these teams to try to stay fresh, especially playing on Friday. This is pretty much almost about 48 hours difference for Lipscomb, but not quite 48 hours for Eastern Kentucky. Nice play there by Steidel just to get a foot on it, because if she doesn't touch that, Audrey Anderson, she's got wide open space. Not a great angle, but still a lot of room to work against C.J. Graham.
Talk about the fresh legs, Justin. I think it's going to be interesting, especially as this match goes on and we move into the second half. Lipscomb had a very different Friday experience than Eastern Kentucky did. Eastern Kentucky going down to the wire. You get that late game winner. You're mentally exhausted. Lipscomb, meanwhile, had that 6-0 win. Never really got stressed, I don't think, too much. And we'll see if that benefits the Bisons as this one goes on.
The other thing, too, 3 players that usually never, I don't think I'd ever before that game seen them get a rest in the game. Katya Hanger, Logan Mcfadden, and Shelby Kraft all able to come out and not play the full 90 minutes on Friday afternoon. And those are 3 players that usually play the entire game wire to wire. But sometimes, and like I say too, these are young girls and they got a lot of adrenaline going, so sometimes I think we make a little bit more of the legs issues than it necessarily is.
That's
but still, it can be a factor. But
when your season's on the line,
exactly.
I don't think that your rest level or energy level may play too much of a factor.
College athletes, and they got a lot of adrenaline right now going. Here's a chance for Eastern Kentucky. Lipscomb kind of swarming, but De Diego, nice little touch pass. Here's Iacono, a chance again, and C.J. Graham to make the save. Michaela Iacono, 5'6" senior, had a great look at goal there, really 2 looks.
Wonderful little touch passes in the penalty area. Iacono taking the time to get to her stronger right foot and put a shot on target, at least challenge C.J. Graham a little bit. And both sets of fans in the bleachers applauding that, because Eastern Kentucky, that was a good chance. Lipscomb, of course, stands tall and keeps them out of the back of the net.
C.J. Graham has already had to make 3 saves in this one. 3 of the 5 shots by Eastern Kentucky have been on goal. Lipscomb, 4 shots, none on goal so far. Got to be impressed, too, with the backline defense right now of Eastern Kentucky. Lipscomb so used to getting those long runs. Eastern Kentucky's kind of been cutting those out here early, really trying to make Lipscomb work on the offensive end. On the flip side, Eastern Kentucky's been more of kind of this quick strike offense once they get in the offensive zone. Audrey Anderson can't get ahead on that one. Now McGee battling there with Katie Wall, or excuse me, Lucy Ream. Now Ream will throw it in. Under 24 minutes left here in the first half. No score in this ASUN semifinal matchup. Winner of this goes to the ASUN championship game, and we don't yet know where that championship game is going to be played. Here's Molly Grant. Just misses it, kind of rolled through her foot there, and it'll be a goal kick. We don't know where that championship game is going to be played because we don't know who the highest seed is going to be. We do know if Lipscomb wins the game, we know the championship game will be here at Lipscomb.
Just a quick score update from that other semifinal. 31 minutes left, still tied 0-0 between Kennesaw State and Bellarmine.
That game being played at Florida Gulf Coast because they were the #1 seed in the East Division. And interestingly enough, it's the first matchup this year between those 2 teams. They did not play being in opposite divisions. That ball's kicked through the legs, and Shelby Kraft able to clear it away. Dangerous right there by Lipscomb. That ball Shelby Kraft was kind of trying to do a little bit of the basketball box out to let Kraft come up and get it, but Eastern Kentucky just fighting through, and then the ball slips through C.J. Graham's hands. I mean, that Lipscomb fortunate there.
That was nearly disaster. I think Shelby Kraft thought that ball was moving a little bit quicker than it was, rather, and C.J. Graham was waiting for it to come into the box.
And they're going to just miss it. I thought that was going to go in. Iacono coming over, got a foot on it. They're going to say that C.J. Graham touched it, and so it will be a corner kick, but unbelievable right now. Eastern Kentucky doing everything but scoring here in the offensive end.
Colonel's turning up the heat.
One thing Eastern Kentucky always got to be aware of, though, you start pressing like this, putting everybody in the box, you can let yourself into a little trouble with a quick counter, and that's what I think you're starting to see some Colonels racing back now. Here's Dunn trying to get a run in. Nice little spot down there in the deep right corner. Just let Molly Grant work one-on-one. She's going to go center. That was a good centering pass. Carly Dean right there, but Cammie McGee was closing in fast.
Let me tell you, Molly Grant can run. Got those long legs, long strides. She tracked that ball down in a hurry and sent that cross in a laser that was picked up by Carly Dean.
Nice punt by Dean. That one gets down past McFadden. Iacono, good speed there. She'll touch it to Audrey Anderson. Can she get there first? No. And you can just see, and this is just something you haven't seen as much with Lipscomb, Shelby Kraft having to play more of that defensive role in that midfield spot than we've seen in other games. She's kind of really having to pinch down and help out defensively. It's going to be a throw in. If you're the Colonels, you got to like the way you're attacking right now, and that's going to be a corner kick.
Yeah, Eastern Kentucky has figured something out. They are passing the ball really well right now. They're earning themselves good chances. Got another set piece coming up. They've got the momentum right now.
Do have Maria De Diego short. This time Emanuela Shirk going to kind of cover her. They went short to her last time. Going to go long this time into the box. Header over, and that goes off the post. Unbelievable that time as Mackenzie Burdick had a great look. That one 6 inches to the left. It's a 1-0 game.
One of the tallest players on the team, 5'10". She gets loose in the penalty area for a clear header and very nearly put Eastern Kentucky on the board first.
When you talk about dodging a bullet, Lipscomb's dodged about 3 bullets here in the last 5 to 6 minutes. And here come the Colonels again. This one cleared away by McFadden. One careens off of Lucy Ream. See if Lipscomb can push back a little bit on the offensive end. Here's Grant, ASUN second teamer. Audrey Anderson boots that one out. Didn't go very far. Another throw in for Steidel now. No subs yet to check in. Usually by this point, Lipscomb would have already subbed. So obviously understanding the significance of this game, and probably going to see some of those players that normally would sub out maybe play a little bit longer.
I think Lipscomb too, just looking for some continuity as they continue to try to figure out what EKU is trying to do.
Nice centering pass. Cammie Rogers not tall enough. Here's Shelby Kraft, and she's taken down. No foul called. They're going to say the advantage to Eastern Kentucky. Amazing Molly Grant, though, just able to even get that ball off on the line there. Carly Dean, just outside the box, will send it deep. Nice move that time by Allison Vaughn. Excuse me, Maddie Lemery. Lemery, the goal scorer on Friday night in the 87th minute of that game. And I'm telling you, just being here, you know, a lot of times as a fan or somebody calling a game, you see it's kind of the eye test. I can just tell you the eye test was Liberty's going to win this game. But that doesn't always tell the tale in a soccer game. And 87th minute, just a quick counter, and Lemery with the difference maker.
I don't think you could have asked for a better start if you're Eastern Kentucky. Obviously, you want a goal or two with how many chances they've gotten, but they have come out and been playing with a lot of confidence, taking on a Lipscomb team that's playing on their home field, and Eastern Kentucky not shying away at all. You have to give a lot of credit to the way that the Colonels have been able to orchestrate, especially on the attack.
Well, the thing, too, is we've seen both teams with high-level chances and just haven't been able to cash in. Here's McGee. Touched up, but nobody there. Molly Grant was trying to track it down. And what you're not seeing as much from Lipscomb is usually a fairly high possession team. Like they're very good at maintaining possession, but just what I'm seeing, the quickness of Eastern Kentucky kind of forcing Lipscomb unable to kind of make those keep possession as much. Here's McGee, got a little room. McGee looks into the middle, and that one taken away.
A great defending there by Allie Kirk. Not an easy place to be when you're on the run, you're backpedaling. Sammy McGee is bearing down on you, and Kirk able to just kind of kick it away a little bit. And here comes Eastern Kentucky now.
De Diego all the way on the right side keeps it in play. Colonels will get some players into the box. Nicely done by Cammie Rogers to keep it out, but nobody there for Lipscomb. Now one popped into the air into the box. Shirk sends it back out, but again, another look, and it'll be a save by C.J. Graham. Shot by Lucy Ream. She was well outside kind of the danger zone, but still pressure being applied by the Colonels.
This does not look like a team that went 4-5 in conference. They've looked really good over these first 30 minutes.
And it's also a team down the stretch that was 3-3 in their last 6 games. But, you know, confidence, momentum can do wonders for a team, especially late in the year. And you always say, especially these mid-major conferences, you just want to be playing your best ball when it comes conference tournament time. Whatever ball that is, baseball, basketball, soccer, volleyball, you just want to be playing your best ball. Now, the thing for Lipscomb, they've been playing so much defense, you can see they got a lot of defenders hanging back. And we'll see now, they're going to give the advantage to Eastern Kentucky.
Yeah, Bison's fans thought that Ream was playing that ball while she was down on the grass, and the official instead points the other way.
So a free kick now for Mackenzie Burdick, who missed a goal by about 6 inches, probably about 10 minutes ago.
I think Logan Mcfadden has a nosebleed.
Let's see who Coach Kevin O'Brien's going to bring in. Or are they going to, looks like they're going to bring in number 10, that's Grace Oliver, will come in. Here's Burdick. They did stop the clock, so it'll restart on the touch. Jockeying for position there on the top of the box, and we'll see if the Official is going to blow the whistle now. Actually, they've moved the clock back to 13:45, so they added some time on the clock. Dunn knocks over her own player. That's Grace Oliver, who just checked into the game. Shirk kind of tried a no-look pass there to Kraft, and it's cut off nicely. Here's Iacono. She's got a ton of speed to burn as well. Cammie Rogers, haven't called her name a ton.
This is where, if you're Lipscomb, I'd like to see them possess a little bit more. I understand the idea from Rogers there, wanting to spring Grant free, but
almost looking a little bit more for the home runs instead of trying to get maybe a few singles and doubles and kind of get back in the offensive rhythm.
Justin, you are in World Series mode.
Exactly, exactly. It's a great game if you're a Braves fan last night. It's hard to beat October baseball, that's for sure. Doesn't matter if you like baseball or not, just the high stress you see in those October games. Here's a look for Audrey Anderson now. She'll just poke one towards the goal, and they're going to say she was offside. Thought that was a little nonchalant. Didn't see the flag go up initially, but it does go up on the far side. Battle in the middle, and Shirk is taken down, and that will be a foul. And, you know, this may go back to your point you just made, Noah, where obviously you got a set piece here, but still Lipscomb able to control, maybe possess it a little bit on the offensive end. Under 12 to go, first half. Still no score here in this ASUN semifinal matchup. Kraft, Grace Oliver touches it, and Carly Dean almost out of position there. She came up, and if that had gotten a little bit more of the head, kind of the backside of the head for Oliver, that one could have trickled in.
Lipscomb has scored a lot of goals on set pieces like that. You know, free kick at or near midfield, and they have either McFadden or Kraft floated in, just hoping that havoc ensues in the box, and havoc did ensue on that last attempt. Dean recovering nicely to scoop it up.
Iacono touchdown to Fitzgerald, but it'll be knocked out. Now we are going to get some subs. Haley Williams is going to check in for Lipscomb. You're also going to get Sky Bond coming in, and it looks like for Eastern Kentucky, Mila Sharpless will come into the game. Cammie Rogers looking for that deep pass again. Been very impressed with this backline defense of Eastern Kentucky. Not really, like I said, Lipscomb, they love that home run hitting ball, and this back line has had none of it.
That's a great point, and that's more mental than anything else. You know, especially in a big match like this, when you know that one goal might be the difference. Just a couple inches, maybe one missed clear. That could be the end of your season, and so far this Eastern Kentucky back line has been up to the task.
Here's Bond, who just checked in. Lanter has it cut off there by Bond. Bond moving it again. Ream putting some pressure on. Good job by Ream not to foul there.
That was great defense by Ream. Did not have the best angle there to make that tackle, but she still was able to poke it away.
Lipscomb offside. Under 10 to go, first half. 9 shots by Eastern Kentucky, 4 by Lipscomb. 4 shots on goal by the Colonels. Lipscomb is yet to record a shot on goal. Although that's a little deceiving because they've had some good looks.
Yeah, you go back to that opportunity that McGee had on the run, put it just wide right of that right post. That was probably the best chance so far for the Bisons.
Shirk trying to get it to Sky Bond. Might do better trying to flip the field a little bit. Nice little steal by Nerea De Diego. She's got some room. Here's De Diego getting pushed off by Oliver, and now Audrey Anderson just misses. Wow.
Another good chance for Eastern Kentucky. Anderson will take that shot. You can see her kind of hunting that top right corner. If she takes a little bit off, she might be able to find that corner.
Noah Ganthier will check in for Lipscomb, and checking in for Eastern Kentucky will be Carmen Combs, 5'4" freshman. So a little later than normal you would see subs coming in here in the first half. Haley Williams tries to get in the middle to Grace Oliver, but cut off again by De Diego. Sky Bond now with some room, but 5 defenders back for Eastern Kentucky.
Still waiting for Lipscomb to make that third good pass in a row. We've seen them make one pass, then maybe a second pass that finds good feet, but it's been that third pass that has eluded them so far.
Nice job by Emanuela Shirk that time. Kirk was coming hard on her. Steidel. What a play that time by Ream to keep it in play. Got to change the point here if you're Lipscomb. Too many players clumping around here on the right side. Foul whistled against Lipscomb. That's a good call.
Yeah, Lucy Ream is having a heck of a first half. She's been everywhere, defense and in the midfield, making things happen.
6:40 left to go, first half action. Number 1 seed in the West, the Lipscomb Bisons. The number 3 seed in the West, the Eastern Kentucky Colonels. Eastern Kentucky, the one and only matchup in the history of these two schools was earlier this year, and Eastern Kentucky won it 2-1. This is just the second ever matchup between these two schools, but you would think they would play a lot more now being in the same conference. Here's Ream. She'll send one into the box. Katia Hanger. Nice header there to get it out.
That was one thing that Coach O'Brien talks about with Hanger is her aerial presence. She always seems to get ahead on those balls, and she can redirect it wherever she wants it to go. Such a weapon back there. When you get balls placed into the box and you've got someone so sure like Katia Hanger who you know he's going to be able to take care of it.
There's Kirk, bounces one up. Slipping through there for a second was Combs. Shirk just trying to clear it away to get it out of harm's way for a second. Haley Williams trying to apply some pressure now. That one sent back. Lipscomb just spending a lot of time on the defensive end. On the flip side, Eastern Kentucky a ton of time on the offensive end. And the impressive thing to me right now is Eastern Kentucky able to do this, and they're still holding 3 defenders. I mean, not even at the midfield line. They're past the midfield line in the defensive zone. They are not going to give away a quick counter.
That's a good call, and they get another corner right here. But that's a great point. Eastern Kentucky is really controlling things in the midfield, and that has allowed them to push up and keep numbers in the attacking third and create these good chances.
This is their 4th corner. You know, that in the loss against Lipscomb, or excuse me, in the win against Lipscomb, they had 7 corner kicks. And Lipscomb, not a team you see a ton of corner kicks against. That one popped up high, and that one's going to be behind the goal.
And the reason for that is this is normally what Lipscomb does to other teams. They normally wear you down. They keep it on the attack. They keep it on their side of on the other side of the field, rather. And it's kind of been flipped. Eastern Kentucky is doing to Lipscomb what Lipscomb has been doing to other teams all season.
The interesting thing about this, and you wonder what's going to happen in the second half, under 4 to go, this is very much what Eastern Kentucky did to Liberty on Friday night. In the first half, they had chances galore in the offensive end. Nice safe play there that time by Bayley Lanter. Shadia Valenzuela is checked in for Lipscomb. Watch her footwork. She's got some nifty moves if she can get the ball on her foot.
She had that goal against Jacksonville State, and she showcased some of that footwork there.
Again, not allowing a run. Valenzuela was trying to break loose. Now again, this is that spot where you've been talking about, get that third pass in, and Lipscomb still, it's almost as if they're not able to be patient. If they just be a little more patient, get one more pass, then move it into the zone, they're looking for that deep run every time, it seems like.
Well, I think you got to credit Eastern Kentucky too, because that long pass is there for a moment, and so they see it and they go for it, and just the Colonels are closing it down as the ball is en route. And so even if you're a midfielder and you see that forward breaking loose, she's open for a moment, but Eastern Kentucky is just closing that gap really quickly.
Throw in here by Ream, who has been fantastic here in this game so far. Not sure who that went off of. I'm going to say it goes off of Lipscomb. Now Eastern Kentucky with just over 2 minutes to go. Hand off to Kirk, and now going to get a couple of subs checking in. Logan Mcfadden will come back in. Mcfadden had to leave, not on her own accord, but had a nosebleed, and it looks like, just
wearing a
from what I
different
can
jersey.
tell, yeah, and it looks like, too, she's got something shoved up her nose to try to stop that nosebleed, it looked like.
Yeah, she's normally number 8. She's wearing number 23 now. She must have gotten some blood on that number 8 uniform.
Easier just change the jersey instead of clean it off. Here's Shirk. She'll try to flip the field, but nobody home. Now they're going to call the foul. It's kind of waiting. Carapaza clipped the body there. Minute 20 left, first half. See what Eastern Kentucky can do here in this final minute. Got a little set piece here. They've been dangerous in the box. C.J. Graham's had to make 4 saves so far here in this first half.
Just a quick update. Kennesaw State has scored in that other semifinal match. They are in the 79th minute, and Kennesaw State leading Bellarmine 1-0.
Graham coming way out to punch that ball out. She does that a lot. Kind of one of her go-to moves. That ball, I believe, should be a goal kick. Yes, it is. So maybe one more opportunity here for Lipscomb, trying to move something in the offensive end. They'll have to do it quickly, though, with just 30 seconds left. And a little slow getting up down there. I can't see.
It's Lemery.
Okay, Lemery. They don't stop the clock, and so that really kind of hampers Lipscomb. So now down to 15 seconds.
10, 9, 8, 7,
Under 10 to go, and that looks like it's going to do it
4,
for the first half. So a first half that both teams had great chances at the goal. Lipscomb misses one by about a foot on their end. Eastern Kentucky misses a goal by about 6 inches. But it's still 0-0, and that was an entertaining first half for no score. We'll take a break, timeout, 15 minutes. We're tied 0-0. We'll have a second half action coming up in just a few minutes. You're watching the ASUN semifinals between Lipscomb and Eastern Kentucky. Well, just about 30 seconds until we get ready to start second half action in this final ASUN semifinal matchup. We already know one half of the ASUN championship game. That's going to be Kennesaw State as they're a 1-0 winner over Bellarmine this afternoon down in Fort Myers, Florida. They take it 1-0, and so the number 3 seed in the East has punched their ticket to the ASUN championship game, and we've got 45 minutes or more to decide who's going to be on the other side of that ASUN championship bracket. Justin Seaman back alongside Noah Severson. And Noah, in the first matchup between Eastern Kentucky and Lipscomb, Eastern Kentucky had 4 total shots on goal the whole game. They got 2 goals off those 4 shots. They had 4 shots on goal in the first half. They were definitely more of the aggressor in the first half.
They were absolutely the aggressor. They had their foot on the gas pedal. They kept it up nearly the entire 45 minutes. Lipscomb had a couple spurts where they got it, into the penalty area, had a couple shots that weren't necessarily on goal, but maybe just high, maybe just to the wide, of the post. We'll see if Lipscomb can make some adjustments there. And you know that head coach Kevin O'Brien, he's been doing this a long time. He knows this group really well, and I'm sure that he saw something out there that they can correct to kind of flip the script a little bit and become the aggressor here in the second 45.
Lipscomb coming into this game led the entire conference in shots and shots on goal. Well, they've been outshot here in the first half 10-4. Eastern Kentucky will try to collect possession first, but Logan Mcfadden, who had to exit part of that first half with what looked to be a nosebleed situation, changed numbers to number 23. So if you're wondering, watching from home, who 23 is, that is Logan Mcfadden. She had to change numbers, but that's a big addition to get her back out there for the Bisons.
Oh, my goodness. She started all 52 games that she's played in for Lipscomb, just a stalwart on that back line, and it's huge to have her back out there, even if she is wearing a different jersey.
Here's Cammie Rogers on the right side. Rogers trying to work it, being a little more patient on the offensive end. Tries to get it over to Molly Grant. Nicely headed out of there that time by Eastern Kentucky. Mackenzie Burdick has been all over Molly Grant on the defensive side. Ream defending against Cammie McGee, and that'll be a goal kick. Been really impressed by Mackenzie Burdick, the 5'10 sophomore from Cincinnati, Ohio. She has kind of been stuck like glue to Molly Grant.
Burdick, Lanter, you go up and down the line. Eastern Kentucky had a great first half, and we talked about their attack, but they were able to put together their attacks because of how well their midfield and defense played, and certainly Lanter and Burdick a big part of that.
Christy Jones going to get the start in the second half as well for Lipscomb. So Jones will come in, one of the seniors on this Lipscomb team. Ball sent in deep. Nice header back to the middle, but there's Emanuela Shirk to cut it off. Nice little knee dribble that time by Olivia Carapazza. Grant tracking, trying to beat out Burdick. She does beat Burdick to the ball. Grant just outside the box, waiting on some teammates. Good recovery that time by Iacono, but Cammie Rogers sends one towards the goal that gets past Carly Dean. If McGee had been a couple of steps farther, she could have finished that one off.
Well, that whole possession was set up because of, unfortunately for Eastern Kentucky, that misplay on the ball from Burdick right after we sang her praises. That ball sent towards her. She tried to get a leg up and keep it down. It glanced off the top of her foot, and that's what allowed Molly Grant to get there for Lipscomb.
Well, and that back line's been so good, but the one advantage Grant may have over Burdick is maybe a little more speed. So far, so good for Eastern Kentucky, though, with that matchup. Pressing in that time was Greta Gunn on Logan Mcfadden. Gunn, one of the all-freshman selections in the ASUN, her along with Naria De Diego. Little touch, nicely played by Ream back to Dean, and Dean maybe took half a step too long. Could have been dangerous here as Molly Grant was coming in hard. Here's De Diego. In the midfield, her and Shelby Craft, very similar players, just seem to always be around the ball. There's a nice ball to Cammie McGee. Nicely played, though. I believe that was Burdick down there, and they're going to give the advantage to Eastern Kentucky.
It looked like it just caught the shin guard of Rogers here on the near side.
Lipscomb trying to at least assert a little bit more of an offensive mindset here to start. First 5 minutes, the possession has been more in the offensive end for Lipscomb. Again, first half seemed like Eastern Kentucky more the aggressor, Lipscomb playing a little bit more on their heels. Nice pass in tight space there.
Well, a lot of these Lipscomb players certainly remember how last season ended with that upset loss in the ASUN quarterfinal here at Lipscomb Soccer Complex, ending a streak of that 5-year-long stretch of reaching the ASUN championship game every single year. And these Bisons trying to get back to that stage.
Here's Emanuela Shirk running past 2 defenders. Back to the middle. Grant scores. Molly Grant with the goal on a beautiful run by Emanuela Shirk.
Shirk was slicing and dicing. She got through 4 Colonel defenders to set up Grant, and Molly Grant did not get rattled. She settled, she waited to get it on her right foot, and then she buried it, cool, calm, collected, and the Bisons erupt for that big goal here, not 6 minutes into the second half.
Emanuela Shirk jumped over, I think, at least 2 or 3 defenders on that run into the right side of the box. She got Carly Dean to commit, and when Carly Dean committed, she sent it over there to Molly Grant, who, as you mentioned, cool, calm, and collective, just stopped it, turned, buried it in the left corner, and Lipscomb. Time of the goal, 50 minutes and 20 seconds. Molly Grant assisted by Emanuela Shirk.
It's the 4th assist of the season for Shirk. I mean, that's kind of what she's been doing all season long, setting up her teammates, making them look good. And Molly Grant says, thank you very much.
But again, the pressure Lipscomb puts on you, first 5 minutes, dominated in the offensive zone for Lipscomb. We didn't see that much in the first half. And you talked about it, Noah, the patience. Lipscomb needed to show a little bit more patience on the offensive end. I think we saw that even on that goal.
I think in the first half, what we would have seen is maybe Shirk trying to force the issue with Grant, maybe passing it up to her. Instead, Shirk recognizing that she may have the advantage when it comes to ball control, so she dribbled all the way up. And Eastern Kentucky not able to really challenge her.
That one goes off of Iacono, so Lipscomb will have the ball. So a whole nother ball game now. Lipscomb still being outshot, doubled up in shot total, 10-5 against Eastern Kentucky. Lipscomb with 1 shot on goal, but sometimes that's all it takes. The 1 shot on goal hits the back of the net, and they lead it 1-0. And again, the winner of this game will face, we now know, Kennesaw State, who is a 1-0 winner over Bellarmine. Trying to get confirmation, but what we believe is if Lipscomb wins, we know they will host the ASUN championship. If Eastern Kentucky comes from behind and wins this, we believe that game will be in Kennesaw State. Try to get confirmation on that. Steidel with a deep ball there, headed out, and it'll stay with Lipscomb. We do know that the ASUN championship game will be next Friday night, November the 6th. So mark it on your calendar. Should be fun, whoever it ends up being. Shot way high there. starting to feel this crowd a little bit too. You know, you wonder about kind of the home field advantage aspect of things. We know Eastern Kentucky brought a good crowd here to Nashville. There's a great touch by Grant. Here's Rogers. Room in the box. She's going to send a shot. That one's blocked away. Nice recovery that time by Bayley Lanter. Rogers again, though, in the middle. Send this one high and wide.
Just to go back to the crowd, you could kind of tell at halftime a little bit of nervousness, maybe a little bit of tension.
A little restless.
That's right, a little restless after the way that Eastern Kentucky kind of controlled that first half. And now that pressure at least lifted a little bit, and maybe Lipscomb can play with a little bit more freedom. Not as tight maybe in this second half now that you've opened up the scoring.
And what's so interesting, we talked about it a lot on the broadcast on Friday night, in that 6-0 monster win Lipscomb had against Jacksonville State. Lipscomb has some trouble sometimes kind of taking the foot off the gas. They're such an offensive team, but this is the type game, you know, 1-0, Lipscomb would be completely content to win the game 1-0, especially the way Eastern Kentucky's been offensively. Obviously, you'd like to get some more cushion, but I don't suspect Lipscomb is going to be quite aggressive as they have been in the past, not with the stakes of this game.
Well, and the good thing for Coach O'Brien, with how many veterans you have out there, you trust them, right? You trust them to make the right play. You're not worried about them, you know, taking a casual mindset and getting lackadaisical or trying to play something other than what they like to do and what they're really good at. So you feel good if you're a Bisons fan knowing that you have experienced players out there like McFadden, like Grant, like Kraft, you know, and all these players that have played in a lot of big games, and they're not going to be ones to, now that a goal is on the board, somehow try to change up, you know, the direction and flow of this game.
Touch by Christy Jones over to Cammie Rogers. She'll look to center it in the middle. A little deception there, went more towards the near post. And we're going to get an early sub here now for Eastern Kentucky. I believe that's going to catch the number there. Number 8 for Eastern Kentucky, Kylie Fitzgerald, rather. 5'3" sophomore. Here is Fitzgerald, who just checked in, trying to get a pass down to Iacono. Handled by Carapazza, careens it off of Iacono. Under 35 to go in regulation. Lipscomb with the 1-0 lead on the goal by Molly Grant in the 50th minute of this one, assisted by Emanuela Shirk. Now starting to see Eastern Kentucky trying to reassert some of that aggressiveness they had in the first half. Official having to jump out of the way on that one. Good body positioning that time by Burdick. Over to McKenzie, or Fitzgerald rather, excuse me. Iacono trying to go back door there, but Audrey Anderson not really close enough.
Talked about what changes for Lipscomb now with a goal on the board for Eastern Kentucky. You got to stick to that formula that earned you so much success in that first half. Keep up the pressure, possess the ball, use those quick passes. You don't need to get the goal back right away. Just kind of chip away, keep the pressure on, rack up the shots on goal like you were able to do before intermission, and just trust the process, so to speak. Trust that eventually you're going to be able to find the back of the net for an equalizer.
Maddie Limery checking in for Combs moments ago. Here's Christy Jones, senior with some space. Nice pass there to McGee. Top of the box now, Rogers. Little crossover, she'll send a shot. And it'll be a goal kick. Cammie Rogers hit the deck. Sienna Miller was down there defending on Rogers. kind of that nice, kind of almost basketball crossover move you see right there from Cammie Rogers.
McGee was kind of making a run here on the near side too. Rogers decided to take it herself. Got to credit the defending of Miller that time, freshman from Sacramento. Lipscomb faithful wanted maybe a foul call. I thought it was nice, solid physical defending.
Lipscomb backing up defensively. Katia Hanger with the header. Audrey Anderson hadn't called her name in a while. Eastern Kentucky would like to get her some looks at the goal. Iacono whistled for the foul. Quick hitter by Emanuela Shirk down to Molly Grant. Reversing course over to Cammie McGee, excuse me. Nicely played out of there by Allie Kirk. Here's Ream now working the left side. Christy Jones, good defensive play there by Jones.
Great idea.
She'll switch the field, and now Carapazza with a lot of room. Touches it down to Rogers. She'll center one, and that one, Carly Dean has to make a save. If she doesn't save that one might sneak in the back corner.
It's one area where I think the Bisons can really take advantage, switching the field, going back and forth, stretching Eastern Kentucky horizontally. Look to see them do that more and more here in the second half, because Eastern Kentucky has been able to take possession because they kind of keep things on one side of the field. So if Lipscomb can stretch them out, create acreage with which they can work, I think that'll benefit the Bisons a lot.
Sienna Miller will throw it in for Eastern Kentucky. .30 minutes remaining in regulation. Nice touch into the box, and Audrey Anderson, she got a foot on it, but just didn't have enough to turn and really get much behind it.
Good creative sequence, though, for the Colonels. You saw Kirk played into Anderson, and we've seen Anderson have a couple of those one-time shots, and hasn't really tested the opposing keeper all that much, but see if that changes. Grant was offside, it looked like.
What a kick, though, by C.J. Graham. Completely flipped the field. The ball be placed at the spot of the offside. Under 30 minutes to go. Spot in the ASUN Championship on the line against Kennesaw State, who punched their ticket earlier this afternoon in Fort Myers, Florida. Touched back to Graham. Coming hard is Audrey Anderson. You never know on those situations. A quick mishandle, you got to keep following through. You can see maybe a little urgency starting to appear for for Eastern Kentucky. We saw most of the first half a solid 3 to 4 defenders playing behind midfield. Now you're starting to see them creep up a little bit more here, having to be a little bit more aggressive.
Yeah, that's out of a necessity too, because you talk about how Lipscomb now has kind of flipped momentum, and they're pushing up now, and they're controlling. Now the Bisons have kind of woken up a little bit, and Eastern Kentucky now is having to reckon with that, trying to find the answer to that. The answer is pushing up more numbers.
Allie Dunn will check in for Lipscomb. She'll come in for Cammie McGee. Dunn, who started this game, and then Christy Jones starting the second half. Now Dunn will come in. Nice pass by Allie Dunn. There's Kraft. She has a big-time collision. No foul called, clean play, but that was a big collision between her and I believe that was number 21, which is Bayley Lanter.
Just to go back to that pass from Allie Dunn, that was a beauty. She has got great touch. She sees the field really well, can orchestrate an offense. Eastern Kentucky cannot allow number 7 in white to get that much space again, because that was a great through ball.
Well, now Lanter's down on a couple of knees. They've stopped the clock. Lanter held her hand up like didn't want to bring anybody out, but that was a major collision over there between her and Shelby Craft.
It was big. They were both looking at the ball, coming full speed, converging. It's that's the scary collision when neither player sees it about to happen.
She doesn't want to come out of the game. She's going to stand up. She's having trouble. It looks like just from here, the vantage point, it looks like that right foot, or right leg rather. I'm not sure, foot, ankle, knee, shin, what it is, but it's that definitely ginger on the right leg. And for the moment, they're not going to bring a sub in for her.
Well, Lanter, a senior, she knows that this could, if they're on the wrong end of this could be her final game. So she doesn't want to, I don't blame her for not wanting to come out. I mean, this is win or go home at this point.
Dean with the punt. Steidel just clears it out. Ream will go to throw the ball in. And now they're going to have to get a sub in for Lanter. She can't go. She'll get a round of applause from the Eastern Kentucky fans, but she had to go back down to a leg, and you hate that for the senior. Bayley Lanter, 5'7", Lexington, Kentucky. She just could not put the pressure on that leg she needed. Claire Seiler going to come in, a freshman. She's going to throw the ball in, so come right in and throw the ball in. A little action over on the right side, and now looks like Angela Steidel holding her face a little bit.
Yeah, we could see things get a little more physical. You talk about as that urgency starts to build up for Eastern Kentucky and some of those 50-50 balls, we might see more and more collisions.
So now McFadden will take the free kick. She'll get it down towards Grant. Grant sends one back to the middle. Steidel can't get to it in time before it's cleared out by the Colonels. There's Audrey Anderson coming back. Ricochets off of Bison, so it'll be Colonel's ball. Still in Lipscomb's offensive end. McFadden will swing it wide, flip the field. Carapaza to Kraft. Back to Shirk. And Emanuela Shirk kind of went down awkwardly. I'm not sure. Shirk, I think it may just be her cleat.
Yeah, she lost her shoe.
Yeah, the way she went down, it was one of those things. It was either going to be one of those kind of scary non-contact type things, but it does look like it's just her shoe. Ran out of her shoe. McFadden looking to get some players into the box. She sends that one all the way, and it's a goal! Logan Mcfadden scored! Unbelievable!
We talked about the strength in that leg. Justin, that was from near midfield.
I've never seen anything like that.
Carly Dean was in shock.
Well, and I was too, quite frankly, because the way Dean looked, I thought the ball was going wide, but that one snuck right inside the right post.
It's McFadden's second goal of the season, her first since the season opener when she scored the game-winning goal against Mississippi State. And how about here in the ASUN semifinal?
I mean, she was about 10 feet in front of the midfield line when she kicked that ball.
Da-na-na, da-na-na.
I mean, that is top 10 material for sure. So Lipscomb takes a 2-0 lead now with under 25 to go. You take a step back from the amazing shot that was, and now realize that's going to be a tough hill to overcome now if you're Eastern Kentucky.
Yeah, if this is any other sport, you're Matt Kozenick, you're calling a timeout, right?
Yeah,
you can't call a timeout. You got to trust the players on the field to rebound. They got to try to steal one quickly here. Obviously a lot of time left, but I mean, that is just a devastating blow for Eastern Kentucky.
Well, and you don't know, but again, this is just Carly Dean's second ever start in goal for Eastern Kentucky. Got forced into some action.
I just don't know. It's tough to tell from this vantage point. We do know that the sun would probably be in Dean's eyes a little bit,
yeah, I
especially
think you're
with
right.
how high that
but
ball
the way she looked, it really looked, quite frankly, like the ball was going wide. I'm not sure. You know, that's one of those things, kind of like the goalie. You want to go ahead and put yourself maybe right there near that post so you know where the post is. But she just kind of watched that one go in. Ball going to be touched out, and I think Lipscomb was the one who was supposed to have the ball. They were. But now things really get sped up if you're Eastern Kentucky, down 2-0. And this is where it really gets difficult. As another ball in the box, centering it. Does it get through? No. Cleared out. That one almost slipped through to Cammie Rogers. Greta Gunn getting out of the box. Initial harm's way. Here's Christy Jones. She'll turn. Little bicycle look and gets it towards the goal.
If that would have gone in, I would have thrown off my headset and headed home.
Drop the mic type moment right there if that one had gone in.
But, I mean, you're seeing the confidence and energy that Lipscomb is playing with now. It's all gas, no brakes. There's a lot of positive vibes right now at Lipscomb Soccer Complex for the team in the white jerseys.
Going to get a yellow card issued now against Maddie Lemery. Well, can she go 2 for 2, Noah? Logan Mcfadden setting up again inside
I think Carly
the midfield.
Dean might be a little more ready this time.
Midfield line. Literally, she just scored from about 5 feet closer moments ago. Again, that one towards Dean. This time she'll grab it out of the air. Just the fact that she's getting the ball where, I mean, it's got good pace. It's not a pop-up. I mean, this thing.
And I want people to understand how hard that is to do, right? You don't get a run. I mean, you do get a running start, but the ball is still. It's on the ground. It's not like a goalkeeper where you can, drop kick it. That is so tough to do. She's got to have such a strong leg to be able to put it on a dime like that.
Kicked off of Greta Gunn. Lipscomb will have the throw in. And now another Colonel is down. It's going to be number 24, and that's Sienna Miller. They will stop the clock. How interesting is this, though? Eastern Kentucky, I mean, they had multiple opportunities to be up 1, maybe even 2 goals in the first half. And it really looked like they had Lipscomb on their heels. Second half has been an entirely different story.
Yeah, that first half, you kind of went into the break thinking that both teams, in a way, had sort of won that first half. Eastern Kentucky for getting out to that great start and creating a lot of chances, but also Lipscomb had to feel good because you go in tied 0-0 with how good Eastern Kentucky played. And you come out here in the second half, and Lipscomb you know, they get that Molly Grant goal, and then, of course, Logan Mcfadden. I mean, that's just a backbreaker. And this game has completely been turned on its head here over the past 20 or so minutes.
So Sienna Miller will have to exit the game. A couple of subs coming in for Eastern Kentucky. And that may be the recipe they need to try to get back in this, get some fresh legs potentially to try to get past this iron wall that is Lipscomb's backline defense and McFadden and Katya Hanger.
Yeah, they need something to break their way, anything to break their way. They need, you know, a misplay by the Lipscomb defense. They need a good through ball. They need just one positive thing to go their way to get that confidence back.
Advantage will be to Eastern Kentucky. Lipscomb doesn't like the call there. Neither do the fans. Fans letting the official hear it as well. Deep kick that time by Burdick. And now Lipscomb starting to get to the point, 20 minutes to go in this one. Lipscomb not going to be in a hurry really to do much in this game from here on out, you would think. They'll be fine to have balls kicked out of bounds, take a few extra seconds here and there, free kick.
Yeah, if you're Lipscomb, you're in the driver's seat, just can't afford any breakdowns defensively, trying to keep it in the midfield. Continue to stay aggressive, continue to stay physical. Don't let Eastern Kentucky get anything easy. I think Lipscomb has done a good job of that here in the second half, of getting into the passing lanes, making Eastern Kentucky really have to take that extra second to think about where they want to go. That takes a toll as this match goes on.
Set piece here. Gets past the kind of line of defenders there. And that one rolls out of play past the midfield line. Little turnover there. Trying to sneak it past a couple of defenders. Molly Grant was behind the defense momentarily on that run. McFadden trying to keep it away out of Iacono's feet. Nifty move there by Carapazza. And Lipscomb will get the foul as that one whistled against number 15, Claire Seiler, who had to come into the game for an injured Colonel earlier. And this is a spot here where you can bleed a few extra seconds here and there.
Yeah, clock is on your side if you're the Bisons, that's for sure.
Great ball by Carapazza as Allie Dunn just does miss it, but I mean, you can't place it much better than that. Lipscomb on their set pieces has been really good. I mean, and I'm not talking about just the fantastic, unbelievable goal by Logan Mcfadden off the set piece.
No, that's been a theme all season, too, for Lipscomb. That's something that they take a lot of pride in, being able to place those long, deep balls into the box and put pressure on the opposition. And, of course, when it pays off like it did with that McFadden goal, it's easy to say, great job. But, you know, sometimes it's just putting that pass in and letting a teammate do the rest of the work. That's certainly something that Lipscomb has done well throughout the fall.
Again, what's at stake? A chance to go to the ASUN championship game. You mentioned it. Lipscomb went to the championship 5 straight times from 2015 to 2019. Trying to get back there here in what is technically the 2021 season. We've still got a lot of kind of weirdness trying to work through all those records, but didn't get it last year in the COVID year. We'll just put it that way.
Right.
Trying to get back to that ASUN championship game and also trying to get back to hosting the ASUN championship game. If they hold on to win, they will host it next Friday night. Here's Reeder. Extra pass to Carapazza. She'll send one. Ooh, that was a low heater towards the legs of Carly Dean, but she gets her hands down to grab it.
That was actually really good defending by Sienna Miller. Carapazza was looking to put her on skates and move back to that right foot. Miller didn't let her have the inside edge, and that made the angle for Carapazza that much more difficult.
CJ Graham gonna bounce that one off the leg, and she'll pick it up to bleed some more time. And with that shot, you know, we talked about Lipscomb being outshot in this game. They now have outshot Eastern Kentucky. They've taken the lead there 12-11. I think that was one of the things you got to think Coach Kevin O'Brien was thinking about is, hey, we got to get back to our game. We got to get some shots on. It doesn't have to be on goal, but that just, I think, the mindset of being that aggressor. Here's Shirk. She'll send that one back corner and she'll score. Emanuela Shirk. She had the assist on the first goal by Molly Grant. This time she says, I'll do it myself.
That was one of the prettiest goals that you will ever see. Emanuela Shirk, she's got to be the MVP in this game. You mentioned that great assist to Grant for the opening goal, and she might have just put this one away. A dagger of a strike, upper 90 for Shirk. My goodness, her second goal of the season, and that was a beaut.
Time of the goal, 74 minute, 38 seconds. And Eastern Kentucky, you can't get that timeout, but they're going to have a brief huddle after that. Say, look, we got 15, 18 left potentially in our season. Let's give it everything we got. Man, we have seen some next level goals, though, in this game.
Just shows you how good this Lipscomb team is, and if they continue to play like this, you know, if they can make it out of today and get to that championship match, they're able to sneak their way into the NCAA tournament. Look out. This is a talented, talented team that is primed to make a deep run.
Well, you knew it could be something special when they opened up the year here at the Lipscomb Soccer Complex back on August the 19th and took down SEC Mississippi State 2-1. They also went on the road at Miami and lost 2-0. And then kind of the game where I'm sure, man, they wish they could have got it was when they faced off against Pepperdine, number 23 in the country here at home. Lost that one in overtime, 1-0. But still, you're talking about a battle-tested team in this Lipscomb team. And if it's not a foregone conclusion yet, but if you're starting to look, Kennesaw State and Lipscomb did face off one time here at the Lipscomb Soccer Complex. That was back on October the 3rd. Lipscomb won that one 3-0. And we could be set for the rematch for all the marbles in the ASUN championship game next Friday night. Still 14 minutes to go in this one, but Eastern Kentucky's got to work fast.
Eastern Kentucky just trying to get that energy back. You can kind of tell in their body language. They're still fighting, they're still hustling, but there's definitely something that's changed in the air. I think that Mcfadden goal, that second goal for Lipscomb was really, I mean, if you're Eastern Kentucky, you want that one back. The Shirk goal, obviously that's a wonder strike, the third goal of the game, but just to go back to that Mcfadden goal, still 1-0 at the time. Eastern Kentucky was still putting together some good chances, but it's been all Bisons here. Well, the last 30 minutes.
As there's a corner into the box, slips through, and then it'll be a goal kick. And going back to that Mcfadden goal, at the time of that goal, even though Lipscomb had scored, it had been so difficult for Lipscomb really to get anything going offensively. It's almost like, you know, the water had been hitting against the dam over and over again, and then finally that Mcfadden goal kind of cracked the dam, and then Shirk potentially puts the cherry on top. Another corner kick, my bad on that one. That one did go off an Eastern Kentucky player.
This certainly works out in Lipscomb's favor. These set pieces right here on the attack. You can wind down the clock. You can possess.
In the box again. Goes past everybody. McFadden will kick it back out. Lipscomb will try to reset. McFadden into the box, and Carly Dean comes over and kind of collides with Emanuela Shirk. Shirk saying that went off Dean, but they're going to give it a goal kick. As the clock continues to tick, this looks like it could shake out to be that rematch of the 2019 ASUN championship game that was played here.
That's right, Lipscomb won that one on penalties to get to their second straight NCAA tournament.
Called that game. It was an exciting match.
I bet.
And that was Olivia Doak had the first goal about 14 minutes into it, and then Aaron Harris scored in the 68th minute, and then it went into 2 overtimes and then the penalty kicks. And you talk about a championship game. In one sense, it's kind of hard to have a championship game end on penalty kicks, but from a fan perspective, it was pretty exciting. So it's looking more and more like we're going to have the rematch of that 2019 ASUN championship game, and it looks like it will be played again here at the Lipscomb Soccer Complex. November 9th, 6 o'clock Central Time, 7 Eastern. And don't want to put it in pen just yet, but starting to appear more like you can at least pencil it in, because it's going to be tough hill to climb here for Eastern Kentucky, down 3, approaching 10 minutes left in regulation.
I want to go back to, again, we don't want to harp on it too much, but how much does Eastern Kentucky have in the tank? I mean, that was a great season-defining win on Friday. You know, coming back and upsetting Liberty like you did in the 87th minute on that wonder goal, and to come back and less than 48 hours later take on a team like Lipscomb in Nashville. I mean, that's a tall task, and Eastern Kentucky started off great in that first half. I mean, you couldn't have asked for a better first 45 for the Colonels, and here in the second half, just Lipscomb starting to wear them down.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you were just talking about wins and losses of a half, Eastern Kentucky won the first half, even though it was 0-0. And that's the thing that they'll look back on, I'm sure. You know, this game very, very easily, I'm talking 6 inches, could have been at least a 1-0 game in favor of Eastern Kentucky at halftime. Carly Dean way out of the box to make sure that doesn't end up being a corner kick, but still tons of time going off the clock here. Paza will have the throw in. Again, kicked out. Iacono, Audrey Anderson just never kind of got uncorked here on the offensive end for them. Plays it short to Shirk. Heavy reader. But again, Lipscomb's got no problem if Eastern Kentucky just wants to keep clearing it out.
Yeah, no, this fits into the bill for Lipscomb. I mean, this is kind of what the game plan is at this point. They have executed so well here in the second half. Closing in on what would be the 100th win for Kevin O'Brien.
Yeah, how fitting would that be? Your 100th win as a head coach sends you into the conference championship game, but that's what it's looking like for Coach Kevin O'Brien.
Well, we talked about the storylines coming in. Of course, O'Brien's 100th win a possibility, but also the chance to get revenge. This is the same Eastern Kentucky team that handed you your only divisional loss, and so that kind of made things murky, even though Lipscomb, the favorite on paper, that had to be in the back of the Bison's mind. You know, maybe Eastern Kentucky is just a bad matchup for us, you know, having that 2-1 defeat earlier in the season. And
it felt that way a little
Yeah.
bit in the first half. It
Absolutely.
felt like Eastern Kentucky really kind of had Lipscomb's number. You're seeing Lipscomb play in ways that, if you're familiar with this Lipscomb team, hadn't seen it as much this year. Lipscomb on their heels. Carapazza will send one in towards Carly Dean, who will have to cut it off before Kami McGee is looming. 7 minutes left in regulation. Lipscomb with the 3-0 lead. 3 goals here in the second half. The difference for the Bisons. Scoring got going in the 50th minute. Emanuela Shirk sends a ball over the middle. Molly Grant settles it down and scores. Then Logan McFadden with what may be considered the goal of the year if you if you look at it. She was about 10 feet in front of midfield on a free kick and sends it in the corner of the goal on the free kick. And then Emanuela Shirk with one of the prettiest goals you're going to see. Top shelf in the back right corner.
Yeah, when you're talking about if Lipscomb were to go on and win the ASUN Tourney Championship next weekend, when you're talking about the DVD that gets made of the
You're going to
the
see
season,
some highlights of that
those
one.
2 goals, the last 2 goals that we've seen here, they're going to be at the front of that highlight tape.
Another shot on Carly Dean. She has to make a diving save. And again, midway through this second half, or close to it, Eastern Kentucky had still been out shooting Lipscomb 10-5. Since that time, Lipscomb has outshot Eastern Kentucky 8-1.
That stat says it all. It directly reflects what we've seen with the eye test on the field over the last 20 or so minutes.
Colonel's trying to get something working. There's one of the first team All ASUN defenders in Katya Hanger, who you got to deal with. Couple of subs. Checking in. MJ Anest, senior, going to come into the game. And now at this point, maybe just trying to let the senior finish out her career on the field. Rogers back into the middle. Shelby Kraft kind of got crossed up there. Ball flipped one way, her body went the other.
Tell you what, Rogers has had a heck of a second half. Her energy, her vision really standing out.
Now we're going to get time called. Another injury, and that's the other thing that's kind of bitten Eastern Kentucky here in the second half. I think this is the 3rd player that's gone down with an injury. And I say the 3rd player, I believe
Lanter
that's
again.
Lanter again. She had come back into the game, and she just can't go. Bayley Lanter, 5'7" senior, wanted to give it another chance out there, and she just can't. They do stop the clock. She has to kind of hop off under the assistance of the trainer for Eastern Kentucky, Riley Juker, coming into the game. Don't talk about her a ton, but she's been as solid as they come in the goal for Lipscomb, and that's C.J. Graham. Faced 4 shots on goal in this one and made 4 saves, and it's looking like Lipscomb's headed toward their 12th shutout of the year.
Graham was goalkeeper of the year for a reason. I mean, she is sound, she is solid. Hard to believe that she's just a redshirt freshman. She plays like a veteran. She's got great instincts, which I think is kind of one of the more undersung qualities of any goalkeeper. Is it's great to be athletic, it's great to have good hands, but what goes on between the ears is so important. And C.J. Graham has just been a lockdown defender between the pipes for the Bisons all season.
Whistle goes Lipscomb's way. Under 4 to go. Lipscomb on their way to the ASUN championship game. And another shot on goal from the free kick by Logan Mcfadden.
Well, my favorite part is the crowd. You can hear the oohs and ahs as the ball is in mid-flight. Good pass for Addison Vaughn.
Ball near the corner of the box and just losing control. Back in the middle. Here's Gunn trying to track it down, looking back over his shoulder. Gunn will send one towards the goal. Nobody really there, and Lipscomb will semi-clear it, and now that one will go over the line, and that's going to take a ton of time off the clock. Instead of going and getting the ball right behind the goalpost, C.J. Graham's going to go track down the one that goes over near the bench area.
Talked about that soccer IQ. That's example A.
Under 2 to go. How about Molly Grant? How good has she been? She'll send one, wow, towards the goal and in! That one careened off the top post and bounced in on cue. Molly Grant puts the cherry on top.
We might have 3 nominees for SportsCenter Top 10 goals. The last 3 goals scored by Lipscomb have been remarkable.
Unbelievable. Grant stops on a dime, comes back to her right, sends a shot in. Carly Dean really had no chance. I mean, that one hits the top of the post, bounces in.
Now that's an Allen Iverson crossover. That's unguardable right there.
Well, and the thing about this is Lipscomb won 6-0 on Friday night against Jacksonville State, Friday afternoon. There was no doubt about that 6-0 win. This 4-0 is not indicative of how Eastern Kentucky played in this game. Lipscomb got that first goal, and they had to scratch and claw to get that first goal in the 50th minute. It was kind of like the dam broke at that point. But up until that point, Eastern Kentucky, I mean, I think you would have had to think, if you're putting odds on this game at halftime, you might put the odds on Eastern Kentucky.
Absolutely, and we kind of thought that with how well these 2 defenses have been all season long, like 1 goal might be enough, that we might only see, one ball find the back of the net. Instead, it's been Lipscomb putting 4 in the back of the net, all here in the second half.
Under a minute to go. It's going to be a rematch of the 2019 ASUN championship between Kennesaw State and Lipscomb. And if it's anything like that game, be in line for a fantastic contest. Of course, Kennesaw State getting the win earlier this afternoon in the first semifinal game against Bellarmine, 1-0. And Lipscomb now going to get the win over Eastern Kentucky and going to head into the conference championship, what appears to be like on the back of 2 shutouts.
And
that one goes wide, and that will do it.
Kind of go back to Friday, how much chaos there was, right? 3 upsets in those 4 quarterfinal matches. The one constant now has been Lipscomb proving themselves to be the most sound, the most fundamentally consistent team, and this was a well-earned victory for the Bisons here to get head coach Kevin O'Brien his 100th dub on the sidelines.
100th win of his career, but he's just happy for his girls right now. Headed to the ASUN Championship. Lipscomb a 4-0 winner over Eastern Kentucky here in the ASUN semifinals. The goal scoring got started by Molly Grant in the 50th minute, assisted by Emanuela Shirk, followed up by what should be a SportsCenter top 10 goal, Logan Mcfadden from near midfield in the 66th minute, then Emanuela Shirk, another beauty of a goal, and then the cherry on top, Molly Grant, assisted by Shelby Kraft in the 88th minute, and Lipscomb gets the shutout victory 4-0. So you take a look at that final bracket. Number 3 seed in the East, the Kennesaw State Owls. They punched their ticket to the ASUN Championship. They will travel up here to Nashville next Friday night, 6 o'clock Central Time. It'll be the number 3 seed Kennesaw State Owls against the number 1 seed in the West, the Lipscomb Bisons. And excuse me, that's going to be a Saturday start. Correction, Saturday, November the 6th. I was looking at the wrong thing. So Saturday night, next Saturday night, a week from yesterday, as we're Halloween night. So trick or treat, which one was it going to be? It's a treat for the Lipscomb Bisons as they make it back to the ASUN Championship. And fantastic win. Lipscomb right now, 7 goals in the tournament, no goals against, Noah.
Yeah, I think it's 10 goals in the tournament, right? Because they had 6 on
right.
Friday night. It's been they're playing their best soccer right now. That's gotta feel good if you're the Bisons faithful. I mean, this has just been a solid couple of days here at Nashville, and they're gonna get to go for the tourney crown, the big one, next Saturday against Kennesaw State. So that'll be a fun one.
So Eastern Kentucky, a valiant effort. They will finish their season record of 9-10, 4-5 overall in the ASUN. Lipscomb is going to improve to 14-4-1, and they've got more business to attend to next Saturday night. So for Noah Severson, I'm Justin Seaman saying so long from Nashville. Your final score, Lipscomb a winner 4-0 over Eastern Kentucky. They're headed to the ASUN Championship game next Saturday night, 6 o'clock Central Time.